Criminal defense attorney Jessa Nicholson has been following the trial with us all week long. She joins us now with reaction. Jessa, good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon. Yeah, it's been quite an afternoon.
You were with us on our live coverage over the noon hour, and we were all kind of surprised how quickly that came this morning.
Yes, indeed. I don't think anyone was expecting it. I think because they had been out for so many days, people were thinking maybe they were heading towards hanging. And I didn't think they were hung, but I didn't think we'd have a verdict today.
What was your reaction to the verdict?
I'm not entirely surprised by it. Some people thought that because they were out so long, it would be a compromise. As I've consistently said, these are complicated instructions. It made sense to me that it would take a while to analyze them.
If you were the defense attorney in this case, would you have put Kyle on the stand?
I think that is a very difficult call, and I think different legal experts have different opinions. I'm a lawyer in the Midwest. So is Mark Richards. So is Corey Trafficy. Midwestern juries like to hear from defendants. Furthermore, this is a self-defense case. It's hard to argue an affirmative defense without having the person whose story it is tell it. So I would have made the same decision.
Is there any grounds here for any kind of appeal regarding the judge's decisions or the judge's behavior in court, or is that just in the court of public opinion and this case is now closed?
That is totally in the court of public opinion. Kyle has been acquitted, so there are no post-conviction proceedings, but there are no post-trial proceedings here. He might choose to pursue other litigation, but in terms of remedies for perceived state abuses or perceived judicial abuses, there are, the Office of Lawyer Regulation or the Office of Judicial Conduct, and that's really it. It'd be a separate proceeding.
Do you think the defense did a better job than the prosecution, or the prosecution overcharged in the case?
I think that the defense had the stronger facts, and I think the defense put in better evidence.
Yeah, the prosecution had the burden, of course, and they did not meet that burden. Do you think it'll make it easier for people to accept the verdict based on the amount of time it took the jury to reach their decision, that they did a thorough deliberation?
I hope so. I hope that people have enough faith in our jury system to believe that people want to do it right. I know people are upset about this, but a lot of people that are upset didn't watch the actual trial. And it's easy to have opinions on things from what you see on a 30-second clip on the news, but this was a lengthy trial with a lot of evidence. And the jury took a long time considering it. I think they did their level best.
Do you think this case is going to set a precedent?
I hope it sets a precedent that we forbid news media from following jurors.
Which, that's a good start.
But other than that, no, I think it's, despite all of the attention it's rendered, it's really, at the end of the day, a homicide case that had an affirmative defense. We see those a lot.
Mm-hmm. What do you think, put your hat on the other side for just a second, and what do you think the prosecution missed? Did they make mistakes, or did they just not have the evidence in this case?
I think that there was some insensitivity to the nuance for this. I think that they were very quick to assume that everyone viewed this as an issue of obvious homicide. I think they neglected to account for some of the sentiment that was there about self-defense generally. I also didn't find the way that they presented their video evidence to be persuasive. The single biggest mistake I believe they made, though, was a failure to prepare that surviving witness, Gage Grossman. I think that his absolute devastation via cross-examination was really what did it.
Some people were somewhat surprised about the judge's behavior at times. Do you think that had the jury wasn't in the courtroom at the time, but do you think it had an influence on the prosecutors and the defense?
It's my understanding that both sets of lawyers were very familiar with this judge, that they practice in front of him regularly. And is he a little quirky? Yeah, he is. Many of the fine members of the Wisconsin judiciary are a little quirky. And there is a jury instruction that says, if you have any impression about what the judge thinks, you should disregard it. We have to believe that jurors follow the law. So I think that they worked hard to set whatever impressions they had of him aside.
Well, Jessa, we cannot thank you enough for all of your help this week, guiding us through this very interesting and very complicated trial. Thank you very, very much.
Absolutely, and thanks for putting up with tech issues and dogs and,
baby. Who's babbling in the background there?
Got a full house there. Jessa, thanks for being with us all this week.
Great to see you, Jessa. Thank you so much.
Have a good weekend.